this one probably seems a bit, well, I should say, hi and welcome to episode 15 of Simon Talks Life. This one probably seems a bit abstract, really, kind of weird. And it is, I suppose, just like me, really, a bit abstract and kind of weird. I am going to spend a whole episode of Simon Talks Life talking about the superhero ability that I would kind of like, really, sort of a bit weird. That's something I made up while opening a box of the 4F. It is kind of strange. Like, I feel a bit like Carl Pilkington in An Idiot Abroad when he says to Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant, he'd be bullshit, man. You know, worth a look if you haven't seen An Idiot Abroad. It's pretty funny, really. It's pretty funny. If I can never get this open. Right. So, the superhero ability that I would want. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So, the closest I could probably say, and it makes me feel like watching it now. Do you know the movie Knowing with Nicolas Cage? Right? That's as good a start as any when it comes to this, because that gives you some idea of the superhero ability that I would prefer. But I will just detail it a bit more, because obviously in my quest to get another XR, and obviously an SC from Series 3, the best Transformers cards, I spent a lot of money. You know? Now, I don't really regret spending money as a rule, because money kind of exists to be spent. Right? If it's just kind of sitting in an account, it's no good, right? So, I've placed a lot of orders and they've gone nowhere. You know, I've bought boxes of the 4F, like I've bought 8 from some vendors and 6 from other vendors of these cubes, and I've gotten nothing. So what I would want is it's a bit like that Knowing, where, because one of the feelings I don't really care for in this day and age is that buyer's remorse. Well, son, what are you doing? Oh, they're both turned around. That's peculiar, isn't it? That is very strange. I've had that before with these. Really quite bizarre. Nice to get Megatron there, I suppose, really. I don't really care for buyer's remorse, right? So, but what I would like is a superhero ability, like, you know, because I wouldn't go for invisibility or super strength, being able to fly or anything like that. You know me, if I could fly, I'd probably just end up bloody inhaling. Why is these turned around again? If I could fly, I'd probably just end up inhaling bugs or some fucking bullshit like that. You know, flying into birds and shit. You know, wouldn't obviously be what I'd wanted. So, brilliant. What I would like is ability based on knowing, right? Just before I'm about to make a purchase, I can see how that purchase has played out. Like you might have noticed in your video with me, with the display, when I showed off my display a couple of months ago or something. And I did one where you could see I had a bit of Lego in the room as well. Now, Lego is something I kind of wish I hadn't gotten into, because these are all sort of turned around. It's really annoying how that happens. Lego is something I kind of wish I hadn't really got into. It's not really my jam, if I'm being honest. But my wife got into it, and I was sort of like, yeah, look, I'll give it a go. And it's kind of fun putting stuff together sometimes, but the novelty wears off really quickly. So I would like the superhero ability where just before I'm going to buy something, I get to experience, say, the next 2 years as if I've had it. Right? How cool would that be, right? So I know how it's going to work out with me having bought it. So just before I was set to buy 8 boxes of the 4F, I would have the ability where I would know, you would long since know, you hadn't gotten anything from that. You know? So I would then be able to not proceed with the sale and buy some more. Buy from a different vendor maybe. But again, just before I'm going to purchase that cell. So it's almost like I would get to know if I was buying, when I was buying cards, I would get to know just before I was going to purchase if I'd be getting an XR in that badge. You know what I mean? Isn't it? It's kind of a bit of a weird one to explain, really, eh? You know, but I'd sort of be up for that a bit, really. You know, so many of these I've spent sort of $200-300 in a pinch. You know, you get 8 boxes and you just get all of these duplicates again. Each one of these cards I've got multiple copies of. You've seen me pull them. But if just before a purchase I get an idea of how it's going to play out, then I could go, no, I won't proceed with that one. I'll investigate another one and then see how that purchase played out. You know? I reckon that'd be kind of interesting. This has been another one of those really shit boxes, you know. So this purchase, for example, I wouldn't have proceeded with it because I would know, you know. And I suppose, yeah, that movie 9 would be the closest I'd be able to get to, I suppose, maybe identifying or articulating what that superpower ability would be like. If you're interested, let me know what you think what superhero ability you'd prefer would be like and why. Okay, thanks for joining me on this journey where I continue to spend entirely too much. This has been episode 15 of Simon Talks Life, where I've talked about the superhero ability I would like. Join me next time for episode 16.